Welcome to Access TV, where we shamelessly promote our culture and our peoples. On this midsummer edition, we're going to focus on a little bit of activism, a lot of culture, and a festival or two. First up, let's take a look at our Unsung Heroes of Vancouver. Robbe Hardnette visits the Chinese-Canadian Military Museum on the second floor of the Chinese Cultural Center one afternoon. He sits down with 4 Asian-Canadian veterans. Here they are.
Hi, I'm Robbe Hardnette of Access TV, featuring Unsung Heroes. And today I have with me 4 young gentlemen who all served in the military, and what's so interesting is they're all 90 plus, so that's why I call them young gentlemen. And I also have the founder of the museum of which we're holding the show today, and that's Mr. Howe Lee. So I'd like to ask a few questions of you today. First of all, how are you today?
I am fine, and I'm very pleased to be here. And certainly we have a museum that shows a lot of contribution that was done by our Chinese Canadian veterans. The focus right now had been mainly on the Second War, and our recent addition, we're now getting information on the First War.
Excellent.
Much to show.
Excellent. Yes, we do. We have a lot to show. We're going to talk to the gentlemen that are here, and we will also do just some footage of all of the memorabilia of times. So we're going to walk back in time, so to speak. So let me talk to my first guest, and sir, why don't you tell us which service, which division you were in at the time of Normandy?
I joined the Air Force here as a recruit there in 1941, September 4th, 1941.
I see. And what's your age?
91.
91. Oh my goodness. So how does it feel to be 91? I'm just curious to get a peek into that.
I feel fine, except I can't move as fast like a few years back.
I see. Do you still do a jig or a little bit of dance at all?
Yes.
I'm just
mobility.
I'm just joking.
Also, are there still many D-Day friends or veterans that you're still keeping in contact with?
Most of my friends are Caucasian. I don't see them at all. They don't, because I'm a different texture of skin there, they don't come and see me.
I see. Okay. And so with that being said, let's go to our next guest and find out who he is. And Mr. Neill Chan.
Yes.
And why don't you let us know about the service that you had contributed in the Army there, or in the military, I should say.
Well, when I first joined up, there was a general conscription in Canada, 1944. I was in the Army in 1941 sometime. We were volunteers. At that time, DC was still under the old rules.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't a citizen of Commonwealth, you're not allowed to bear arms.
I see. Here's a good question. What are some of the complexities that went along with you being Chinese and being in the military?
It wasn't very easy. I tried to join in 1939, but it wasn't accepted. We tried up in Prince Rupert in 1942. My comrades and I tried to join the Navy, but we had a waiting list, so I didn't sign up. The other 2 did, and they left the name in the naval base. In 1944, General called for everyone in Canada to join the Army. That's in 44. Then we we were told to go to Depot 11 in Vancouver, down Seaforth Armory. From there we found out we could join the Seaforths, but we were allowed to join the service people. So we were waiting to see what we could do. From there, we were sent to training camps in Alberta.
I see. Quite interesting, really. But let's get some comments from Mr. Chow. Now, were you in the active part of the fighting process, or were you part of the support?
When I joined up in 1940, August the 26th, 1940, I was green as grass. I wasn't 19 years old. So walking the armories in Victoria, the Bay Street armories, and they had two gentlemen sitting there. I didn't know their officer in those days. He said, "Did you want a lot of action?" I said, "Yes." "Okay, we'll make you a DR." No idea what a DR. I said, "Okay, yes, so go ahead." More or less, just yes. So anyway, I joined up in Bay Street Armories, Victoria, on August 26, 1940. Walked in there, and there's these two gentlemen, and by the time they got through with me, they sent me to the quartermaster. First of all, went to the medical, had medical, went to the dental, and then from there went to the quartermaster. They issued my uniform. They're right there and then. And the same day I signed up, I was in uniform. I had to find out how to wear it. So anyway, that's where I started. I joined up with 16th Light ACAC Battery. It was an anti-aircraft battery. Eventually we saw again the Bofors gun when we got to England in 1941. There was no guns in Canada to train on. And then we went from Victoria to Barrage Street, Bay Street, to the Seaforth Armories now. And they did the gun drill, and they used a broomstick on the floor. Okay, this is a gun, this is where the wheels are, so you stand here, there. That's all it was.
I see. So tell me this, and any one of you can answer this question. Did you serve right alongside of the counterpart of your white soldiers, or it was individual?
I was out of the unit of 250 people in a battery. I was the only Chinese there.
Oh, okay.
But I was treated pretty good. There was in those days, as far as I was concerned, there was no discrimination.
I see.
And when we joined up, there was a bunch of us. We were all in the 19s and 20s, years old, and we're all green, green and red.
Quite interesting. I see. Well, let me ask Mr. Howe Lee here, in terms of. I know the museum represents a lot of what these young men did in terms of their serving. I would like to know from you the different things that you do here, so that people will know and can come and find out more about the service that they've done for their country.
Well, although our museum only started recently in time, which was November 7th, 1998, so on that basis, I, for one, and some of the other veterans realized there were a lot of contributions that were made by our Chinese Canadian veterans, and when I started to do some research, we have record of over 800 Chinese that served during the Second War, in spite of all the discrimination. But just quickly to give you a quick background, we have individuals, and sometimes the only Chinese in the group. So we have service in North Africa, Sicily, Italy, all of Europe, and then the larger group in the Pacific called Operation Oblivion and Force 136.
Okay.
So our contribution was extensive of our Chinese Canadians.
See, I didn't know that. I'm glad that I had asked that question. So what I want to do is to wrap up here, because we're moving quite fast. There's so many questions that I could ask you guys, but we only have so much time. So what I want to do is just find out from each of you, what was it like coming back to Canada? I mean, were you celebrated as a hero in your own communities, or in Canada at large, or was there a different reaction?
Well, when I came home there, emotionally I dealt with is the Chinese community. But the Caucasian, I tell you, they don't, some restaurant, they won't let Chinese in. Give an example, white lunch, Scott Cafe. They won't let me in, they won't serve me.
Even after serving in the military?
Even, I'll tell you a good example, I was on leave with one of a Caucasian fellow, and his white lunch. I went in there, they say Oriental not, Chinese not allowed, but Caucasian, so we walk up.
I see.
That's
And
not bad.
how about yourself? What was it like coming home?
I came home in 1942, but that was after our stint. We were in the regular army. When I was in the army camp, the British sent some people over to ask for Chinese volunteers to fight in the Pacific War. So we volunteered. A whole group of us in Maple Creek, all pretty near all of them were joining up. So we all went and signed up for this 136, which I thought was going to be a Chinese regiment, but in fact it wasn't. At 136, it covers a group of all kinds of people, spies, demolitions, and assassins and all that.
I see. Okay.
And they're all under the British General Mountbatten.
Okay. And finally, Mr. Chow, how was it like for you coming home?
My brother-in-law got me a job in the wholesale. I got discharged in October the 20-something in 1945, and my first job was unloading potato out of a box car, 100 pounds. I was only about 120 pounds in those days. And in the army, when you need four people to do it, I mean, in civilian life, 2 people do a job, and the army used to have 4, right? So it was really hard working. But anyway, I got used to it.
All right.
That's right.
Excellent. Well, at any rate, first of all, I want to thank you for coming in today. And I also want to thank each and every one of you for your service to Canada and your part in what you did to serve for your country. So both here at Access TV and Shaw, we really want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for coming out. I've had a great time. We could do so much in terms of asking you so many questions, so we could go on and on, but we have just this amount of time. So I thank you for coming out today. And on behalf of Access TV and Unsung Heroes, I'm Robbe Hardnette, and we thank you for being part of the show today, and we'll talk again sometime.
You're living in the downtown east side. Where do you live?
I live in a subsidized apartment.
I live at the Empress, okay?
Okay.
And when I first moved in there, it was $325, I think, or $350. And then the rent kept going up.
Before that, I was living in the SROs there.
And you stayed at the Dunsmuir?
Yep, I'm afraid to tell you.
What happened at the Dunsmuir? What's it like there?
I'd rather be dead.
I've lived in an SRO and it kills. It brings you down.
The landlords are getting more problematic.
A couple of friends of mine stay in the region. Yeah. They're paying over $700 a month.
And the rents are going like right up sky high.
You got a bathroom there, and the bathroom doesn't even work properly. She can't even use the tub. You have to go to the women's center to shower.
Because when I was in the SRO, the rents were reasonable. The landlords were more supportive.
Awalaskenis, a journey of truth and unity. This is a ceremony that is taking place as we speak. Artist and carver Beau Dick of Alert Bay, together with many elders and people, are journeying from Victoria up the roads of BC by foot and car, gathering the intentions of elders, and taking copper to Parliament Hill, where on July 27th they will perform a shaming ceremony in hopes to unify all peoples in bringing awareness to the damages that are being done to our waterways and our culture and our earth. What we will see next is Gunargie O'Sullivan and LaTiesha Fazakas, an art curator and documentary filmmaker, who have taken a keen interest in Beau Dick and his leadership in this process. Let's hear more.
Hello, my name is Gunargie O'Sullivan and I'm here with LaTiesha Fazakas. She is the owner of Fazakas Gallery, and plus she's a filmmaker who is currently working on a documentary called Makers of Mask, a documentary about Beau Dick, who is an internationally renowned Kwakwaka'wakw artist who is leading the way to Ottawa on a journey called the Awalaskenis, a journey of truth and unity. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's Maker of Monsters, just so you know, the documentary. Yes, yes.
Yes. And so what can we expect to find in this documentary about Beau Dick?
Well, we've been working on it for 4 years, and it has been evolving as as we go along. We had initial intentions as to what the story would be, and we started before Beau was even going to go on the first walk down island from Alert Bay to Victoria, and so I think it's taken a much more political turn at this point, and I think it's taken much more of a turn, explaining him as not just an artist, but as a leader, as a cultural leader, and so I think that that's going to be a big part of it.
Yeah, it feels to me like this walk is in part about regaining our hereditary values as well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that from what I can tell with Beau is that his full intention is to raise as many people up as possible as he goes along his way. I think he understands that that's the true nature of a leader, that's the true job of a leader, is not to just lead people, but to bring people up with you and create more leaders around you.
Exactly. So he'll be going from community to community. So far he left UBC, went to the downtown east side, and then he took it over to the Stolo Nation. He went to Penticton. He's been to Chase, and now he's in the Silcotin territory.
Is that right? Yes, yes, yeah. He's making a real concerted effort to reach as many communities as possible, to reach out to them, again to talk to them about himself and his culture on the coast, and their mutual interests in the environment and concerns about the stress on the environment from activities that really could harm our waterways and fisheries and things like that. Those are things that are incredibly important to people here on the coast, because that's their livelihood, that's their resource, that is their resource.
Well, he's pointed out several times that this is not just about an Aboriginal issue, and that we're all connected in it, and it's going to take all of us to take this journey and make that difference. So he went from one end of the island to the other last year, went to the legislature and broke some copper and threw it on the lawn, and didn't get a single response from Stephen Harper, and now he's taking it to the next level, going to Ottawa. And will you be there to film the shaming ceremony? And
that is the plan. That is the plan.
I want to go with you.
Well,
I'll carry your bags.
Excellent. I think that you're absolutely right that he is interested. Beau is interested in really conveying a message of unity, of that Native issues are our issues. There's no separateness in that. There is a unity in that.
And
that
we have a responsibility.
Absolutely, and I think that he's incredibly gifted at reaching out and trying to bridge that, because the reality is we need each other.
That's right.
And that's the only way to do that is to create bridges rather than barriers.
Yeah.
And I think that that's his intention.
And he's also going from community to community. Not only is he bringing them messages, but he's also taking their messages to the hill, right? And he's taking like 6 or 7 pieces of copper that have a lot of history. Some are newer than others. These copper shields have been touched by all the elders at the elders gathering, and people have talked to the copper, they've sang to the copper, and they're bringing it to Parliamentary Hill, and they'll be having a ceremony there which you'll film. This is a mask here, Wild Women of the Woods by Bo Dick. And how much is this worth?
It's $6,000.
$6,000. It could be yours for $6,000. You can check out more Native art at Fazakas Gallery at 145 West 6th. And your number is?
604-876-2729.
Well, thank you for sharing your time with us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
I've known about Bo's work since I was 13. I went to the same high school. It astonished me that someone that young could be making something so serious and so sophisticated.
Anyone who's encountered a piece of Bo's immediately has an emotional reaction.
So many times I remember looking at, well, it has to be Bo, because nobody else would have dared that.
His approach is purely artistic. He draws the center line down the front and carves it from there.
Sometimes better not to think and just feel when you're being creative.
I was talking to some anthropologists the other day and art historians, and we basically agreed that Bo is probably the best West Coast artist since Contact.
Bo's also, he's very much an artist, and he's very much, personality-wise, he can be a troublemaker, and he's had difficulties in the past.
Bo was just a young kid, and they started a rebellion in our school. And that's one of the things that Bo does. Like I say, if you're an artist, you make people aware.
I took part in painting part of the pole until I spilled green paint over the one side of the raven's face, and that was my first contribution to Paul's in the village.
The way he controls the wood is absolutely phenomenal.
And he's just attacking this piece of wood and hacking away at it right towards his own body.
After 40 years of swinging this thing, it becomes part of you. And you get deadly aim, you know exactly how deep it's going to cut.
When most other artists would drop the piece, put it in front of them, and look at it for 10 minutes until they figure out the next step. For him, it's already all in his head, ahead of time.
When I would buy an art piece that Bo brought in, I love the interaction and I love Bo's presence so much. I always have to take myself back and just concentrate on the piece and what the piece is as an art piece. Is he a shyster or the best salesman? I think he's probably a bit of both.
I kept going and going, and then I got out of there and got to the plane dock and jumped on the plane. Thinking back of fighting my way through all that brambles and bushes, to fighting my way through all of these people. Part of my role is, as an artist and a carver, is to understand what all of these things mean. That's life. It's a mixed bag. I love it.
It was a very vibrant, very theatrical, very dramatic culture, the Kwakwakwa. A lot of it's very dark.
She was warned that if she encountered this horrible creature, she could be eaten. And he held it up over his own head, and he went, ooh. It looked at him and said, Quackwabalas, set me free.
His success, his work being in the limelight of galleries or whatever, is not what motivates him. Actually, I don't think he has much interest in his work when it's done.
Material wealth can be easily acquired. Knowledge takes a long time.
Bo was a shaman, Bo was an artist, Bo was a con man, Bo was a lot of things.
Bo is a rising tide that helped lift a lot of people up. And when he rose up, a lot of us rose up.
And I guess I was trying to address the whole question of, is what Bo is doing contemporary art?
20 years ago, the world wasn't ready. But today, the atmosphere is right, the stars are right. It's all timing, as I suggested. Let us set an example for the rest of the world.
Thank you, Gunargie, and thank you, LaTiesha. My gratitude to Bo Dick and the Kwakiwak people. What a creative way to engage politics and art and people all at once. Speaking of which, next up we're going to focus on the Survivors Totem Pole. This is a unified group of survivors and oppressed, marginalized people. Many paths have led us to Vancouver, and some people have been pushed and bullied about. Well, they've come together and put their resources together to create a totem pole that marks the historical struggle, and we are inviting you to be part of the Kickstarter that Wendy Peterson and the Sacred Circle have put together with the blessings of Chief Bill Williams and the art of Scundle, the carver, who is also known as Bernie Williams. Next up, we're going to see their Kickstart video and take it from there. This will explain everything.
What do you like about the downtown east side, Brent?
Well, there's a lot of things there that I like.
So, Louise, you were telling me that you took an award-winning photograph a few years back.
Yes.
Where was that photograph taken?
On Main and Hastings.
I used to be here. I'm a street person for a lot of years, for 20 years, and then I walked into this church over here. I gave my heart to Christ.
Sure, the area has a lot of problems, but I don't think so.
I got married there. I got ordained there. I went to the Bible school there.
But I do volunteer and do lots of work and occasionally sell artwork.
Well, there is a lot of help down here.
Yeah.
Here. But it all basically it takes time.
Oh no, there's a lot of help around if you want to help yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nice leg. That's amazing. So that didn't stop you from playing soccer?
Nope.
Hello, my name is Wilfred Price. I would like to acknowledge and thank the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations for allowing us to be on their unceded soil to complete our project for the Sacred Circle Society. Thank you.
Yes, hi, my name is Scundle. I'm from the Haida and Coast Salish Nation on the west coast of BC.
And the first and only woman to apprentice under the late great master carver Bill Reid. I've carved 2 totem poles that stand today in Vancouver. The first one at the First United Church and the second one at Van Tech Senior Secondary School. I've also carved a 47-foot canoe for the city of Richmond. I'm currently now carving a survivor's totem pole with the permission of Squamish Nation hereditary chief Bill Williams. This 30-foot, 980-year-old red cedar log is the first ever pole of its kind because it will represent all cultures in a very special and often misunderstood place. In January 2014, we had a gathering of First Nations, Japanese, Chinese, South Asian, Filipino, and Latin American family and friends with links to human rights struggles here. We want to look at this as a celebration of what we've gone through and, how resilient we are, that we're still standing. And
and we're standing together on that too. That's a really big thing. I will be working with 3 apprentices. This will be a very intense time. Many people in our community struggle with stresses connected to historical wrongs. These 3 apprentices are not allowed to touch a totem pole if they have been using drugs or alcohol. Working together under these challenging circumstances can take time, but like the animals carved into the pole, it's all about transformation, protection, and renewed strength and unity. The first 2 phases of this project are finished. We purchased a log and we transported it, skinned, and designed it. We got the studio already, and we need your help. We need $15,000 to complete the pole and to get the base engineered and designed. If we raise $25,000 or more, we will have enough to throw a proper pole raising ceremony and gather the community. We will be raising the pole in September. We know where it's going to be raised, but we just can't say anything right now. For your contribution, we will send you a gift of thanks, as you can see in the rewards section of this page. We have the momentum, the community support, and we need your support to keep it going. This is a grassroots public art project. Please help us make this happen for the community and for the people from the downtown east side. Howe, thank you again.
Well, hopefully we can all throw a bit of change into that Kickstarter campaign. They need $15,000 for the Survivor Totem Pole. Next up, we're going to hear about the Queer Arts Festival. We have Imtiaz Popat and Rachel Iwassa in studio for an interview. The Queer Arts Festival is happening as part of the Pride celebrations, and they are reframing art and gender and taking it global. Their theme is regenerations. Let's hear more from Rachel and Imtiaz.
So it is Pride season, and I have Rachel Iwassa here with me. She's the acting artistic director of the Queer Arts Festival, which is happening at the Roundhouse. So Rachel, tell us about the Queer Arts Festival.
The Queer Arts Festival runs from July 23rd to August 9th at the Roundhouse. 18 days of compelling exhibitions, transformative performances, and inspiring workshops from across the entire gamut of artistic disciplines.
So what is the theme this year? What are some of the highlights?
The theme this year is regenerations, dare to be challenged, risk to be changed. We bring together queer art and artists from 27 nations this year.
Oh, that's a lot.
Celebrating cross-generational collaborations, artistic healing and renewal, and art from around the world.
So tell us about some of the highlights.
Our flagship show is always the visual arts, the curated visual arts exhibition, this year curated by the esteemed interdisciplinary artist Laiwan. She's bringing artists who creatively expand the possibilities of what it means to be queer in the large world, from 18 countries, including India, Iran, South Africa, Cree Nation, Haudenosaunee Nation. It's a really wide variety of really exciting artists. Two of the pieces I'm most excited about respond to each other. John Grayson and Cecilia Grayson. You may remember John Grayson got arrested and held in Egypt on his way to Gaza for a while last year. And he's created a piece, Prison Arabic in 30 Days, that was about his, the flashcards that he made to communicate with his fellow prisoners. And Cecilia Grayson, his sister, made a piece in which she responded to his imprisonment. You know, it's illegal to be queer in Egypt, and John Grayson is widely recognized as a leading queer filmmaker. The family made the decision, the family and legal team made the decision to push him back in the closet while he was being held in Egypt, because they felt if it were known by the authorities that he were queer, he was at risk of his life. So she speaks to that experience and what that was like. Another show I'm really excited about is Sonny Drake's X. Sonny Drake is an Australian artist. He's been developing his own multi-genre brand of theater ever since he was a teenage girl. And X is a humorous, hard-hitting and honest look at addiction.
Wow. Wow, this is really exciting. I'm so looking forward to it. So there is the exhibition in the main hall, and
Yes.
there'll be different shows in the theaters.
Yeah.
So is it ticketed? How do people get in with the different shows and the exhibition?
It's mixed. We try to make it as accessible as possible. So there are shows that are free, there are shows that are ticketed. You can find all of that out on our website or coming to our Facebook page.
That's great. So tell us what's planned for opening night.
Well, opening night is one of Vancouver's hottest pride parties and one of the few that's actually free to the public. This year it's going to be a little bit different. We tend to be usually a little bit more about the performing arts. This year we're going to be focused mostly on performance art from visual artists who are presenting in the curated exhibition. As well, our artistic director, I'm acting on artistic director because our artistic director, SD Holman, is on leave this year to pursue her own artistic projects. Most people would recognize her from the Butch Not Like the Other Girls project that was around in bus shelters, featuring masculine women. And 20 bus shelters around Vancouver. It went completely viral with thousands of shares around the world.
Yeah, she's a fabulous artist.
She is.
Really. So this is your first year as acting artistic director. You've been operations director before.
Yes.
So how has that been?
It has been an adventure, absolutely. I think everybody should have to do their boss's job for a little while because I've been second in command for 3 years, and so when Shara decided she was going to take her leave, they promoted me for the 1 year that she'll be away. And boy, there's been a lot to learn. You think you know everything, you think you know everything they do, and I've been discovering all the things that I don't know. So it's been humbling, but it's also been really exciting.
Well, you're just going to open it in a couple of weeks. Are you still looking for volunteers?
Absolutely, we are still looking for volunteers. And we have a lot of different kinds of volunteer opportunities, from things that put you in front of the public and meeting people, or things for wallflowers. We have skilled volunteer positions. We're still looking for some videographers around here. And we're still looking for, there's actually, I think we still have openings in most of our positions, 1 or 2. So. You can just go to our website at queerartsfestival.com, look down the volunteer menu, and you'll see how to apply.
Any final words?
It's really going to be a fabulous festival this year. I am so excited about it. Artists from 18 to 80, and really something for everybody, I would say. So if you've never been to the Queer Arts Festival before, this should be the year.
Well, I'm so looking forward to it. Rachel, thank you so much for coming here and being part of Access TV, shamelessly promoting our friends and community.
Thank you so much for having me, Imtiaz.
Dare to be challenged, risk being changed. I like that. Rachel Iwassa mentioned on her way out one of the musical events at the Queer Arts Festival is Colin Tilney, who is a recording Deutsche Grammophon artist, and he is also the pioneer of early music. He will be giving a harpsichord recital at the Roundhouse. Check it out. Next up, we're going to check in with the Urban Grange and Judy Kenzie, where she will be planting some red Malabar climbing spinach for us. Let's see how this is done.
There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello, a bee in my bonnet, hello.
This is a red Malabar climbing spinach seedling. They're one of my favorite plants for hanging baskets. When you're doing a hanging basket, one of the big issues you have is that they tend to dry out really quickly. So moss will help with that, and as well, underneath this moss we have another thing called, it's a coir called baby blanket, and quite commonly available, and that also helps keep not just the soil in but the moisture in as well. So again, same sort of process. You gently take your seedling out. These were grown from seed. They're about 3 weeks old now, and then you're just going to put it in here. And in this case, the Malabar climbing spinach is going to go up and curl around this, and it will come down the other side.
Try
turn around because I was one of the street boys that staggered all over downtown and drank anything that was available. And
it was getting to the extent where in a 10-month period I was in the hospital 4 times.
Snowed during the night, and I was just shaking and shivering, and then I looked beside me and my shoes were gone, and my shoes had holes in them.
When you're in that situation like that, it's really hard to plan in advance, plan for your future, do anything other than survive from day to day. You know, you're basically get through half the month and you don't have any food.
It breaks my heart to see the way we are, because I was in the same situation. I was no better than anybody.
The most important form of support that I get is having a door that locks and having my own place that is decent.
I'm not saying I'm better now, but I'm long ways from where I was.
Yeah. Welcome back to Access TV. I'm Molly Caron. Well, June 17th was the big day the Conservative government announced their approval of the Enbridge pipeline. LJ Meyer and Gunargie O'Sullivan hit the streets with camera and microphone to gather the reaction of the citizens of Vancouver. Let's see that footage.
Tell me, what do you mean by dressing like this with all the oil lookish stuff?
Okay, so this is a representation of what my generation and the generation after me is going to be cleaning up.
The federal government has announced that Enbridge is approved, so now it's time for people to take to the streets. Almost 1,000 people are expected to come today.
Do you think that they're going to honor the 209 conditions?
No, I don't, and I think that Enbridge, was involved in preparing those 209 conditions as well. So I really don't trust them.
Yeah. So I think that we're prepared for a full-on oil and water fight. They've been preparing for this to push this through, and we've been preparing to defend.
It is my job to make sure that my great-great-grandchildren have salmon to eat. It is my job to make sure they have fresh water to drink. We will be on the hook for the cleanup. They will charge, they will try and get money off of the companies, off of the tankers, but ultimately we will pay the highest price, because you cannot clean up diluted bitumen. We all know that.
We all drink water. We all breathe air. We are all connected to this land, whether we deny it or not. And of course, that's such an obvious thing, and I keep thinking, oh, we shouldn't mention this. But the thing is, it's such an obvious thing, but why doesn't our government understand that?
They have green-lighted Enbridge's Northern Gateway pipeline proposal with 209 conditions. So it's official. The war is on. And I know you know as well as I do that some of us here are going to jail, because that's what it's going to take. And we know in our heart of hearts we will not be standing alone on the front lines, that our dear friends and neighbors will be there beside us as you and I collectively, side by side, will have to defend the interests of our children. And I know that we will do this, that we will make this journey together. And I want to thank you all for coming out here tonight. No pipelines! No tankers! Defend our coast! No pipelines! No tankers! Defend our coast! No pipelines! No tankers! Defend our coast! Thank you.
Well, thank you to LJ Meyer and Gunargie for running out with their cameras and capturing the reaction of people to the conditional approval of the Enbridge pipeline. Speaking of hitting the streets, there will be a citywide housing march on July 26th. Go to the link and get involved. We took our cameras out to the streets, LJ Meyer and I, capturing thoughts of SROs and housing. Well, a single room occupancy sometimes has a sunny side to it, and we captured a few of those opinions.
Continue to say they're building affordable housing, even though it's not affordable to the people who actually live here.
It's going to get a lot worse before it ever gets better. If it is,
The government always says they're going to do something about it, and they sometimes even set a date. And I don't see it happening. A matter of fact, I see the thing is even worse now.
The homeless count came out. Turned out there were even more than I thought. Over 1,500 people in Vancouver as a whole, and 200 more people in the downtown east side.
Oh yeah, I got $120 given to me today. Given to me. And I'm sitting here and I'm trying to see people that has been nice to me. There's one, he's going to get some money, and I think he's going to spend it on something bad. But I don't care. He's been nice to me, so he's going to get it.
Well, speaking of youth, it was an uncertain ending to the school year, but that didn't dampen the spirits of students at Tupper Secondary, where our own video technician, Jeremy Garcia, together with Stephen Emery Coder, who is the digital media teacher at Tupper School, captured some of the festivities at the Tupper Multi-Fest. Here they are now. Well, sometimes music says it best. We're going to show you a music video made by LJ Meyer of the Fraser Union, a local group, and this song is written by Barry Truder. This Old World. Here it is on Access TV. This old world needs a shaking up.
Papers, you can hear it on the news. So many people with the down and out blues. Seems like this old world needs a shaking up. There's people people who don't care about what they pay, and others barely make it on $1 a day. Seems like this old world needs a shaking up. Don't be downhearted, don't be blue. It's up to me and it's up to you. And if we want to feel the warmth of the sun, we've got to stand up and be counted before this night is done. Too many people hungry and sick, too many others looking for a quick fix. Seems like this whole world needs a shaking up. Too many camps full of refugees, and too many people sleeping out on the streets. Seems like this whole world needs a shaking up. Don't be downhearted, don't be afraid. It's time to step out of the shade. And if we want to feel the warmth of the sun, we've got to stand up and be counted before this night is done. Too much hypocrisy, too much greed, too many lies, I don't know who to believe. Seems like this whole world needs a shaking up. To me and it's up to you. And if we want to feel the warmth of the sun, we've got to stand up and be counted before this night is done. I read it in the papers, I heard it on the news. Too many people with down and out blues. Seems like this whole world needs a shaking up. This whole world needs a shaking up. Seems like this whole world needs a shaking up.
There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello, a bee in my bonnet, hello.
One of the things that I have found really helpful here in the Pacific Northwest is to actually have a grow light. This is one that is made in BC, and it's really nice because it moves up and down. You can grow lettuce in this year-round if you want, but really it's about everything. It's as big as the average home gardener would ever need to get their seedlings started for spring.
Tried to turn around because I was one of the street boys and staggered all over downtown and drank anything that was available. And
it was getting to the extent where in a 10-month period I was in the hospital 4 times.
Snowed during the night, and I was just shaking and shivering, and then I looked beside me and my shoes were gone, and my shoes had holes in them.
When you're in a situation like that, it's really hard to plan in advance, plan for your future, do anything other than survive from day to day. You know, you're basically get through half the month and you don't have any food.
It breaks my heart to see the way we are, because I was in the same situation. I was no better than anybody.
The most important form of support that I get is having a door that locks and having my own place that is decent.
I'm not saying I'm better now, but I'm I'm a long ways from where I was.
Yeah. Well, this is wrapping up our summer edition of Access TV. From totem poles to shaming ceremonies, Gunargie, thank you for bringing us that breaking story of the journey of truth and unity.
Yeah, the Awalaskenis Pew journey is going to be awesome. I wish I could go to Ottawa on the 27th to witness this historic event, and can't wait to follow up on it.
Well, it certainly takes my attention and makes me sit up and notice. This is a big ritual.
Yeah, exactly.
And an invitation to all people to look closely at how we treat our land and its past and how our government is doing.
Yeah, how much disrespect they've shown to Aboriginal people and our rights is really quite disturbing.
And we're going to leave our viewers with images from the Red Jam Slam's celebration of National Aboriginal Day.
Okay.
Big success?
Excellent. We had a great turnout. Rachel Iwassa was there, Kama Lopez from Latin America, and Gigi
Charlebois.
Yes, she was there, and Gary Godfredson from the Shuswap Nation, and also surprise guest was Barry Scow from the Cargill Nation.
And it was emceed by Def
Con from Skagit Valley Radio, and Wildy Salmon,
who was doing the kids' talent show.
That's right, Jay Peachy. Warren Hooley was there, and he also brought along with him David Yates, who played a sliding didgeridoo, and of course Red Soul Blues, all-time supporter.
Thank you for doing all of that.
Oh, my pleasure.
And thanks to Sid
It's what I
Tan
do.
for capturing it.
Thanks, Sid Tan.
Well, it's time to say goodbye.
Bye.
For Access TV, I'm Molly Caron, shamelessly promoting our culture and peoples.
Coast Salish Territory, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, June 21st, 2014. National Indigenous Day. I'm Sid Tan, an executive producer at Access Community Television, tasked with this show's close. We're at the Heartwood Cafe with a fundraiser for Red Jam Slam Society, who promote and feature emerging and seasoned Aboriginal artists and performers. We have a lot of fun doing this show, knowing there will be glitches and miscues we can learn from.
No, but it's not on. It's not on.
This is what happens. Thanks, Sid.
Just want to make a quick acknowledgement that we are on Swalowtooth, Squamish,
and Musqueam territory.
Yeah, start it over again, please, and thanks. Yes, there you go. Now we got the sound. Remember, kids, sound check is important.
We hope to get a long-form presentation from this Red Jam Slam fundraiser on the internet shortly.
All right, so I would like to thank you for coming today, and we also have another special guest. Who is this?
Alvi.
That's Al?
Alvi.
Alvi, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Very quiet. All right, so
you put your whole self in, you take your whole self out, you put your whole self in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
Did you know Access Community Television is produced by a volunteer cast and crew? I'm Sid Tan, and on behalf of the cast and crew of Access Community Television, thanks for watching, and straight shooting and tight edits to you.